Okay, so in this video we are just going to run through some of the basics of Microsoft Project, and in particular we're going to go through how to enter tasks into Microsoft Project. So this is the screen you get when you first start Microsoft Project, and you've got a number of templates here, a blank project template, and here's a project that I've just started a few moments ago. There is actually nothing on here at the moment, but I will just run through the key elements of this. So on this side of the screen, this is where we are going to enter our tasks, our project tasks. We're going to enter the duration of those tasks. We're going to identify what tasks come before and after each other, and all that information will be laid out in a Gantt chart over here. So first thing we do on our project is we give the project a name. So we're going to call this Project Package Implementation. And it's going to have a number of phases. We're going to have a requirements phase. We're going to have a design phase. We're going to have a build phase. We're going to have a test phase. And we're going to have an implementation phase. And if this is an agile project, you'd probably repeat this about 10 times, but for the purposes of this example we're just going to stick with this. So what we can do here is we can indent these tasks or these phases as they come under the main project. One thing we're also going to do is, before we go any further, is we're going to change the task mode to that of auto-scheduled, which allows us to have the dates calculated automatically by Microsoft Project. So we'll just click on that to change all our existing tasks to auto-scheduled. We just highlight that column, we go up here and we click on auto-schedule. Very nice. Before we go any further, we're also going to set a project start date. So we click here, click in project information. We're going to have a start date of a Monday, so we're going to select Monday the 17th of October. We're going to select OK, and you can see all our tasks have defaulted to 1 day. Just stretch that out a little bit. And what we've got here is we've got our various phases. So within each phase we're going to have a number of tasks, and we can insert tasks either by right-clicking. These are the two ways I do it: right-clicking and pressing and selecting insert task, or you can just press this option here, or you can press your insert key on your keyboard. Okay, so we'll give it a number of tasks. So within this requirements phase, we're going to gather a number of different types of requirements. We're going to gather some technical requirements. We're going to gather some configuration requirements. And we are going to gather some reporting requirements. If we decide that we don't need some tasks, we can go over here, highlight them, right click, delete task. Very easy. Okay, so these three tasks here all sit under the requirements phase, so we're just going to indent them like so. And in fact, under each of those we're going to have a number of tasks. So we'll just add some more tasks. And for the technical requirements, what we are going to do is we're going to first of all draft our technical requirements. We're going to draft them. We're then going to review them. Having had them reviewed, we will then expect to do some rework. So we rework. After they've been reworked, we're going to get them approved. So approve technical requirements. And then finally what we're going to do is we're going to insert a milestone. We can do that like this. A milestone, as it says, is a task that really marks an event in the project, and this particular event is the approved. We now have our approved, excuse me, we have our approved technical requirements, and it automatically gives it as a milestone a duration of 0. Okay, so what we can do here is we can insert, well, first of all what we will do is we will just indent these requirements because they fall under the technical requirements summary task, and we will just indent them like so. Okay, then we will, let's just indent that, we will insert some more tasks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In fact, what we will do is we will copy these down here, so you can highlight these, you right click, copy cells, come down here, right click, paste, and then what we can do is we can do replace, which in Microsoft Project is the same as in Word and Excel. You do Control H, so we'll replace technical. We'll replace it with configuration. And if we do replace, 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 replace. So similar activities, similar tasks, and what we can do again is we can indent them. And we'll just set this to a day 0 because it's the milestone again. Okay, alright, so that essentially is how we add tasks, how we indent our tasks, and now what we need to do is we need to enter the duration of the task. So we have a duration column here that allows us to do that. By default the duration is days, and I would recommend that any task should have a duration of probably between 1 and 10 days. Any shorter and it starts to get a little bit ridiculous. This is at the end of the day a tool to assist us, not something that's going to be a burden, and having tasks of a duration of less than 1 day starts to become problematic. Any greater than 10 days and you run the risk of not being able to track the task appropriately. So what we'll do is we'll say we'll allow ourselves 5 days to draft the technical requirements. No, hang on, we'll say we'll give ourselves 10 days to do that. Initially we'll allow 5 days for the technical requirements to be reviewed. Based on the feedback, we'll allow ourselves another 5 days to rework the technical requirements, and we'll also allow 5 days for the technical requirements to be approved. Okay, and as before we can just do a copy like this. So copy, and then if we come down here we can do the same, paste, and again same number of days. Maybe what we'll do is, in fact, we'll give 15 days to do the configuration requirements because we believe they're a little bit more complex than the technical requirements. Okay, now these tasks are in actual fact in sequential order, so we want to link them together, which means that Drafting of the technical requirements has to be completed before we can start reviewing them. Reviewing has to be completed before we do the rework, etc., etc. And what we can do there is we can just highlight all those tasks like this. We press on link, it will automatically link them in sequential order. Similarly here, same thing, it will link them in sequential order. If you didn't want to do that, you can select just 2 tasks in any manner you want and press a link and it will link them together. Or you can go here and you can determine the order in which they are going to be sequenced. Okay. So over here on the right hand side of the screen, we now have our Gantt chart gradually coming together to give us an idea of the sequence of events. So we can see that we have our tasks all nicely laid out. But one thing you'll notice is that our screen is starting to get a little bit filled up. So what I always do very near the start of creating a project schedule like this is I go to Format, I go to Text Styles, and I in actual fact will change the size of the font normally to size 9. Click OK. What you see is that we now have more real estate as far as entering the task goes. We also have a little bit more room over here on this right hand side to view the actual tasks themselves. Another nice little touch that I like to do is to, again, using Format, going to Text Styles, Item to change. What we will do here is we will select our milestone tasks, and I just like to give them a different color to the other tasks so we can be clear that they are milestone tasks. So we click OK, and they're now in blue. Our summary tasks are in bold, and it just starts to make the schedule that little bit more readable. So that's really all we want to cover in regards to entering tasks. It's a fairly straightforward activity. You do it a few times and you can really get the hang of it very quickly. There's nothing too complicated about it, and it will lead on to more complex things further on, but that's the very basics of entering tasks into Microsoft Project.